What is required of her? What's required of her is what? She should start her fast. Make imsak. Hold on, not eating, not doing anything. Until she sees the sign. And when she says, oh yeah, it's here, then she can break her fast. But because she didn't even make up the niyyah at all, then she will be what? She'll be required to make al-qada'u ma'al kaffara. Okay. Similar thing will be the situation of someone who gets sick at a particular day of the month, something like that. And maybe it's very crazy kind of headache or sickness, whatever. But the person did not even wait for that thing to start. He just assumed it will come, and he didn't even make niyyah to fast. The person will make al-qada man kafara. That's what we call ta'wilu al-ba'id. What I've said is ta'wilu al-ba'id. It's just mere assumption. It's not relying upon any Sharia rule. A common example that the ulama make for a ta'wil al-ba'id al-qarib, the one that relies on something in the Sharia, not knowing that it does not apply with the rule of Ramadan. Someone, for example, who mistakenly ate in Ramadan and drank, and he didn't know. He thinks, since I ate in Ramadan, I have to make up for that fast. So he kept eating for the rest of the day. That is ta'wilun qarib. On a good day, if you mistakenly eat in Ramadan, you are supposed to hold on for the rest of the day, not meaning that you have to stop eating. And although you make up for that day, but it doesn't mean you have to continue eating. No. So if the person thought, but my fasting is gone already, it's invalid already, let me keep eating, then he has done a ta'wil al-qarib. He's thinking that because he has to make up for that fast, he can eat. So that's a case. Another example is someone asabathu janaba. Wake up in a state of janaba, maybe after Fajr. Assuming that, since I woke up after Fajr with janaba, which I woke up in a state of junub, I can't fast. I don't have the fast. Then he didn't fast for that day. He will make qada and not qada ma'al kafar, because he assumed that that rule applies to him, and it does not. Someone who came back from traveling, came back home, and because on journey he's not allowed. Sorry, I don't want to use the word is not allowed. Astaghfirullah. He's allowed to break his fast if he's on journey, and we'll talk about the journey. But now he journeyed during the day, and he got back home to his base before sunset. Since he was on the road, not fasting, he thinks because he's back home, he can just continue like that, since he started the whole day not fasting and he started eating. That person will make up for 1 day fast and not 61. Okay. So that case is qada only and not ma'al kafara. There are things in the Sharia that they don't require you to what? To make up for them. For example, I walk in a dusty area, and the dust, I walk on the road, or like that, and the dust of the road, al-ghubar, entered my throat, or I opened my mouth so consciously and one fly entered my throat. Ah, what was that? You tried to take it out, it didn't come out. When I finished eating, I think some meat got stuck to my teeth, and I was just doing like this, and I said, "Ah, subhanallah, that small thing that was stuck there before Fajr," and I swallowed it. That one does not take anything from your fast. Uh, I'm working in a dusty area. I work as a woodworker. There's no way chips of very fine dust will not enter my throat. Or I work with cement. I work as a bricklayer or something like that. Those things do not break your fast. If you take injection on your buttocks, uh, even if it's injection is usually liquid anyway, as long as it doesn't get to your throat or you don't feel it, or it doesn't get to, it's not an injection of nutrition into it doesn't break your fast. Even if you take injection in your skin, as long as it's not the one that will it's not like drip that is meant to give you nutrition, not some vitamins or anything like that, uh, then it doesn't break your fast. If also you vomit and uncontrollably it went back, then it doesn't break your fast. If you put you have a wound and you put some maybe ointments on it, it doesn't break your fast. If mani or madhu was discharged unconsciously or not intentionally, then it doesn't break your fast. Also, they say al-hijama, cupping or bloodletting, for health reasons, or blood donation, or if you sick a bit and they have to take some of your blood for into the lab to examine it, then it doesn't break your fast. Only that does not break your fast. Now, the things that are makruh, that are the Sharia doesn't want you to do is fasting, is tasting things, tasting food, tasting something. Oh, I'm tasting honey. I'm tasting food, tasting the food, even though you don't swallow it. Just going like this and throwing it off. It's makruh. Makruh means the Sharia doesn't want you to do it, but if you do it, it doesn't mean your fast is broken. But if you taste it and you swallow it, down there, al-qada'u mal kafara, because you did that on purpose. The things that the Sharia doesn't want you to do again, the precursors of intimacy, touching your wife or your husband sensually, that can lead to kissing lip to lip. It's different from pecking someone on the head or just patting someone. Those things are different. And I think you understand what I'm saying. Someone says, I know I can control myself, but you are doing things that can lead you there. It is makruh for you. Smelling perfume in the afternoon of Ramadan, you're trying to sniff it, it's makruh. For someone who is sick, doing hijama, and the person has the fear that if I do hijama, I'm going to pass out, I'm going to faint. If you have that fear already, like, I don't think I'm strong enough for this, don't do it. Because if you do it, that will be makruh. If that one now leads you to break your fast because this person is fainting, they need to give him something, then it will be like something that you caused on your own. I'm too strong. I can fast 5 days without taking sahur and iftar. It is makruh. Don't do that. What are those things that we want? I'm trying to rush up because of time. That we want from someone who is fasting in Ramadan is showing يعني صون كيف أقول صون, protecting your mouth. Whatever you don't need to say, don't say it, even if it's not bad. Just talking, blabbing, all of these things. We're not even talking of gossiping and other things that are sins now. As much as you can avoid saying things that are not necessary. If it's time for iftar, try to break early. Don't say inshallah until after Isha. No. We want you to hasten up breaking your fast. One of the things that also mustahab that we want is eating sahur, taking something, even if it's small, even if it's a cup of water, even if it's just 3 dates at the time of sahur, taking it, ingesting it. And when you are breaking with fruit or dates and making them taking them in odd numbers. And if you don't get dates that the Prophet ﷺ, that is dabino, and the Prophet ﷺ uses, then you can break on water, inshallah. The things that you are allowed to do, you are allowed to use siwak. I'll talk about toothpaste or not toothpaste. You can use a brush, just a brush to clean your mouth. You're allowed to rinse your mouth if you're feeling like I can feel mouth odor. Take some water, shake it, throw it off. It's allowed. This, if I say it's allowed, I mean it's allowed. I don't know better for lack of better choice of word. If you wake up in a state of junub, in a state of impurity, maybe a husband and a wife has a sexual relation in the night of Ramadan, then in the night of Ramadan, and maybe they didn't make the ghusl, before Fajr, so they wake up in a state of junub, or there was no water or something like that, then it's not if I could have it. It's not something that breaks the fast. It's allowed. So you can make up for your ghusl after Salat al-Fajr, after you have started fasting. So don't say, I know if I don't make my sahur, that is the food that you eat for fasting, I'm not going to be active throughout the day. But now because I woke up in a state of junub, I have to go and do my ghusl first. No, take your sahur first. You woke up late. Take your sahur first. After the time of sahur, before Salatul Fajr, go and do your ghusl, and it's okay that way. I said I was going to talk about about traveling. The shurut, there are 4 conditions under which it will be allowed for you to break your fast if you're traveling. Number 1, it must be safaru qasri. Safaru qasri. The journey must be at least 77 kilometers. Journey. And I mean journey. And when we say 77 kilometers, we mean from the outskirts of the city to the next place. Some cities are so big that you can even walk 70 kilometers or thereabouts in the middle of the city. Or for example, now, I left my house and for 40 kilometers, I'm still in the city. Then after, from the end of the city, I now did 37 kilometers. That is not safar. The safar must be like from the outskirts of the city onward. Number 2, أن يكون سفر مباح ولا سفر معصية. The intent of this journey must not be to sin. Inshallah, I'm going to rob. I'm robbery. To rob people. And because of that, inshallah, I won't make my Ramadan because I'm allowed. Oh, no. It was la safara ma'asiyah. It can be a safar of going to sin. It must be something that is allowed for you to do in the Sharia. That the purpose of the travel must be that. Number 2, the person must have made number 3, sorry. The person must have made the intention of breaking the fast right from before Fajr. It's not like I woke up fasting. Then I learned I had to travel to Johannesburg today. Then because of that, I'll have to break my fast. No. You have to have made the niyyah of not fasting before Fajr. That's number 3. Number 4, which most people do not take into cognizance, is that the journey must have begun before Fajr. Sallallahu ala Rasulillah. The journey must have what? Began before Fajr. If you are traveling and your flight is say 7 o'clock in the morning, and Fajr is say 6 o'clock, but you left your house since 4 a.m. and you are in the airport since 5:30. Fajr met you in the airport, but you have not started the journey until after Fajr, then you are not allowed to break your fast. So even if you made the niyyah to start the journey, but the Salat al-Fajr, you have not left your city at Fajr, you are not allowed to break the fast for that day. So you must have left the city before Fajr. And when we say the city, we mean the part of the city that is being what? That is being inhabited. Meaning that if you are driving, you left your house, Fajr is 5:30. You left your house 5:20. Like you left the house before Fajr. But before you got to the outskirts of the city, it was Fajr. Then you are not allowed to break your fast for that day. So I would say, well, you left. I didn't say you left your house. You must have left the city before Fajr. Very important point to note. So if all these conditions are present, then you are allowed to break your fast. One other thing. If where you are going, the muddah, I'm going to Pakistan, and I'm going to spend 10 days there, you are not allowed to break your fast. The duration of the journey must not be more than 4 ayyamin siha. What do we mean? Must not be more than 4 days. How do we count the 4 days? The day that you left your house is not there. The day that you leave the city is not there. You are going to. So if you remove the day that you left your house and the day that you leave the city, you now add 4 complete days, meaning of the ulama say specifically 20 salawat. 20 salawat plus the day that you left and arrived, and the day that you will leave the place. That's like 6 days. It must be. So if it's within that, I left my house today, that day yulgha tilka al-yawm. Then I spent 3 days on my journey. Or I spent 3 days, 3 full days, did Salatul Subhi, did Salatul Zuhur, did Salatul Asr, and I left. That day you can still fast. But if 4 days completed, staying where you are, 20 salawat, then plus the day that you came, then plus the day that you will leave, if it's up to that, that's like 6 days, then you are not allowed to break your fast, because with that you will have been like a muqim, like you'll be regarded as someone who is what? Who is staying there. Subhanallah. We need to rush up because of time. It's allowed for anybody who is sick to break his fast, whether he's an old person or whatever. Condition 1, either is afraid, like, if I keep this fast, I'm going to break down. Or I'm already sick. Before, if I fast, it's going to worsen my situation. Or if I fast, I won't heal on time. 3 things. Number 1, I'm feeling sick. The way I'm feeling, if I fast, subhanallah, I'm going to break down. You know, like the sickness is just coming. It's not there yet. That's one situation. But you are almost certain. How do you become certain? It has happened to you before. The way I'm feeling, I know in 3 hours, if I don't take something, I'm just going to pass out. I've experienced this before. Or this is usually happens in our family. It's like a family thing. Or a doctor has told me, if you experience this maybe 3 times within 1 hour, you need to eat something. And here we put a condition that 2 Muslim doctors, or 2 reliable, if there's no Muslim, 2 reliable doctors who do not tell lies. They have confirmed for you if this happens. Case number 1. Case number 2, you're already sick, but you are afraid that if you fast, it's going to worsen the situation. Case number 3, you're already sick, and you are afraid that if you make the fast, it's gonna delay the healing process. In these 3 cases, you are allowed to break your fast. The third one will be like, it will be too painful. It's not going to really increase, worsen the sickness, but it will become like almost unbearable for me. I won't be able to do this. No, like I'll almost, something like that. In that case, the person is allowed to break that fast, and he will make up for it. Another example that we'll give is maybe someone has this kind of very crazy migraine that is afraid he's going to lose his sight. Something like that. Astaghfirullah. But is that that? I would like to also talk about the condition of a pregnant woman or a woman who is breastfeeding. A breastfeeding woman, if she's afraid about her own health, 2 situations. She's afraid about her own self. Then she takes the ruling of the person who is sick, she's allowed to break her fast. If she's afraid of the situation of the baby in the womb or the baby that she's suckling, she's allowed to break her fast also. For someone who is pregnant, who is afraid of her own health, listen to this part, she only does qada. She only does what? Qada. She only makes up for that fast. Wala tut'im. She won't be feeding someone. But if the fear is not about herself, she knows, well, I can hold this, but I'm just afraid that if I fast, it's going to affect the baby in my tummy or the baby that is breastfeeding. فَعَلَيْهَا الْقَضَاءُ وَالْإِطْعَامُ. She has to make up for that fast while she's feeding someone for every day of Ramadan that she misses. Muddun likulli yawm. That half kilo for every day, like we said. For a woman who is breastfeeding and has the capacity to ask another woman to breastfeed for her, she doesn't fear for herself. She's not afraid of what's going to happen to her health. And she has the capacity, whether she can pay another woman to suckle the child for her, or the woman, there's someone there who can just, not even asking for money, it's compulsory for her to fast. It's not optional. And if she's going to pay, she's not required to use her own money to pay. She will use the money. It's the father of the child that has to take care of the expenses of the breastfeeding. Or if the child does not have a father, it has to be taken from the property of the father, if he has property that is left when he died. If someone breaks his fast, I'm trying to rush upon the Messiah, deliberately today, tomorrow, his qada and kafara will be multiplied by the number of days. So if someone, wal-iyadhu billah, decides to not fast in Ramadan completely for 30 days, and that will be what? That will be 200 and what? 200 and something days that you have to make up. Astaghfirullah. We ask Allah to not make us get into that. So just know, if you deliberately break your fast, the number of days you have to make up for that, inshallah. I said I was going to talk about toothpaste. If you use toothpaste and it gets down through your throat, it's like you're eating in Ramadan. So stay off. I think basically, yeah, there's a question there. I'll take questions after, inshallah. I'm wrapping up. Someone who missed some fast before this Ramadan, maybe because he was sick, or was breastfeeding, or was pregnant, and like that, up until this Ramadan, he is not able to make the fast, and the Ramadan has begun. He has to, while fasting this Ramadan, which, if possible, to make this Ramadan fast, he has to be feeding a person per day for the number of Ramadan that he has missed.